Good morning, my loves. Happy Monday, Memorial Day. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. The high today here, I think, is like 93, 94. It's really nice. Very, very bright. The sun is just beaming in my eyes, as you can tell from all the shadows. So I talked to a friend of mine last night, and we had this great conversation about the great loves of our life. And so at the end of it, she said, "You've got to do a video on this." I don't know. I don't like sharing that kind of stuff. She said, "Leave out the names. People will love this." Okay. Here we go. The great loves of my life, and there are, I think, 5. The first is actually my son's father. We never married. I knew him, I think when we first started dating, I was in a junior in high school, maybe, senior in high school. He was in college. And it was wonderful. He was so nice and so sweet and so kind. And we dated. Our relationship ended when I got married, and then I was divorcing, and he heard through the grapevine I was divorcing. And he called and asked me out for my birthday. And we saw each other, started seeing each other again. And it was wonderful. And I guess you could say my birthday gift that year was my son. But he is just the greatest guy ever. He really, really is. I will never, ever say a bad thing about him. I can't. For one thing, he is the father of my child, and I can't knock that. But he is just genuinely a good person. Do I hear from him? No. Do I wish him well? Absolutely, positively. I know he's remarried. He has kids, no doubt, grandkids. I wish him the absolute best, but he's a good guy. But the cool thing about that relationship, it was young love. But it was real love. It really, really was love. And that's pretty awesome. Number 2, a guy I dated in the 80s. We dated for 10 years. Yeah, great guy. Oh my gosh. Blind date. Met on a blind date, mutual friend. And we were both a little leery of blind dates, but this one worked out so well. And the cool thing about our relationship was the honesty. There was no pretense. You could just be who you were, be comfortable in that. It was great. I mean, it was really, 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 really great. And right at the first date, we're out to dinner, a very nice steakhouse, and we're laughing and just having the best time. And he took my hand and he said, I got to be honest. I know you're a single mom. I met your kid. He's great. But I don't know if I want to raise somebody's kid. Somebody else's kid. And I said, I respect that. I appreciate you being honest. It's been a great first date. I wish you the best. He said, oh, this isn't over. No, I don't want to let you go. He said, I just don't want to get your hopes up, my hopes up. I just want to be honest. And he was. And we dated 10 years. We talked marriage. I adored his family. Oh my gosh. So he had his own avionics company. His parents had a farm. And my dad was head of research and development with an aeronautical company, aviation company. Of course, I was the nurse. So my dad and he could talk for hours, and they really hit it off. They were besties. And on weekends, I would load my son up and we would go to the farm. And that's how my son learned about combines and tractors and wheat and cows, and he loved it. We were so close to his family, to his parents, and when his dad died, he called me. When his mom died, he called me. When my dad died, I called him immediately because we're still friends. We haven't been together since, 1990, I guess? But we'll always be friends. He's remarried. I just want him to be the happiest person on the planet. Just a great guy. But it's the honesty, the trust that goes with that. Yeah. Number 3. This is good. Number 3 would have to be one of my besties. We were introduced by his brother, that was one of my best friends at the time. And he introduced us. And he was going through a divorce. I was ending a relationship, the relationship from hell. And we just really hit it off, talking basketball, because I love sports. And it was great. And then he was diagnosed with cancer. I was the first person he called. I cried. He cried. He put me on a plane to come see him immediately. Yeah. And then that November, he decided to do stem cell transplant. And I got a call and he said, hey, you're a nurse, you're a retired nurse. I want you to come be my caregiver in the hospital. Will you do that? Yeah. So it was Thanksgiving. So it was from November to January. I lived in Pennsylvania, primarily in a hospital room with him. Slept in that hospital room, ate the hospital food. I was there during his stem cell transplant. And we became besties. And at one point, he met my dad because, we've been friends. We're still besties. But after all of his chemo and everything, he came to visit. And I took him down to visit my dad. My dad loved him. My dad was a chemical engineer and had since retired from being head of research and development. But my bestie is a chemist. And he was a professor at Penn State, head of biomedical plastics and engineering. So they were just tight. They loved each other. And to the point when my dad was dying, he said, I want him to be my pallbearer. And Daddy pulled me aside one day and said, hey, whatever you do, don't screw this up. Well, we had already decided we're better as besties, as best friends, instead of being in a relationship. I talk to him all the time, as in twice this week, but we're besties. And the cool thing about that relationship is the kindness. I would move heaven and earth for him. I did not hesitate going to Pennsylvania in the middle of winter, which was an experience, to take care of him. When I found out I had breast cancer and I had to see the oncologist, he flew in just to take me to my oncology appointment. When I had surgery, he was there. He took care of me after surgery. He tried to. I'm not the best patient, but that's why we're besties, the kindness. We will always move heaven and earth for each other. He's in a relationship. He lives in Colorado with someone. I know her. I know both of them. I'm still close to his family. But it's the kindness. The next one is somebody that, I just think of him and my heart glows. We dated for quite a while and a number of years. He was older. He was, like 20 years older than me. Yeah. And just the sweetest, kindest person. But he got me, He understood me. And I understood him. And what he liked was that I'm a very nurturing person. And he was very prominent, very wealthy. And I didn't want that from him. I pay my own bills. I work. I take care of myself. Thank you very much. Yeah, we don't go down that path. But one day we were out to lunch. And we ordered our lunch. And I looked at the waitress and I said, I want the check, please. And she said, okay. And he said, what? I said, no, this is a two-way street. If this is going to work for us, we're in a partnership. We take care of each other. And I would cook for him. He loved that. He just loved being nurtured because for so long he was wealthy. Everybody saw him as a walking checkbook. No, that's not going to happen. I don't like that. I don't want that. Let me help take care of you. Let me be good to you for a change. You're good to everybody else. Let me be good to you. And he passed a few years ago. Loved him to the moon and back. Talked to him the day before he died. He was in very bad health. He was very upset when I came to Arizona. But his health was so bad and he was dying. He needed to focus on his family, not on me. We talked, oh my gosh, a couple of times a week. Talked to him the day before he died. He told me he loved me. I said, I love you too. I will always love you. Truly, the love that got away kind of thing. But he was just, he got me, and I got him. And it was just awesome. And I think of him every day. And honestly, it just makes my heart glow. He's just the best. Talk to him all the time in heaven. I know he's there. I know he's probably listening right now, laughing at me. And that's cool. That's fine. Last but not least, another one of my besties, somebody I worked with and dated, and just, the kindness and the generosity. So, an attorney. Cool guy. And like I said, we worked together, so we would have lunch about every day. And he had never been in a relationship that was 50-50. And so we went to lunch, and one day I picked up the check, and he said, "What are you doing?" I said, I have an offer. Let's, since we'd go to lunch every day, take turns picking up the check. And that's what we did for years. We went to lunch every day. We would take turns picking up the check. We took care of each other. It was truly, truly a partnership. Now, he's in a relationship with somebody else. I wish them the best. I hear from him all the time. Great guy. But again, it has to be a partnership. I don't want somebody to take care of me. I want a life partner, you know? And the reason that ended, I was moving out of state. He had gone back to his ex, his choice, whatever, but we're still friends. Just a nice guy, just genuinely a nice guy. I know if I ever needed anything, I could just pick up the phone. And he knows if he ever needs anything, he can pick up the phone. Because that's how friendships are. Now, one of my close female besties and I have this ongoing disagreement that when you end a relationship, you cut all ties. It's over. I don't ever want to talk to you again. That's how she feels. I'm not that way, obviously, because I am still friends with people that I dated. I will always be friends with them. Absolutely, positively. Because just because the romantic aspect of our life ended does not mean I hate you, does not mean we can't be friends, we can't be cordial to each other. These guys that I just mentioned, if they send me a text, if they call me, other than the guy that passed, I really don't think I'm going to be getting a call from him. You never know, but I doubt it, but I would definitely pick up. I will always stay in communication because of the respect and the kindness. I mean, the true friendship, because respect, kindness, honesty has to be the cornerstone of a relationship. For me, the cornerstones would be open, honest communication, honesty, trust, and kindness. Yeah. And that's just for me. Am I in a relationship now? No. I have not been in a relationship. I haven't dated since I moved to Arizona in 2020. But the bar is high. And so far, no one has even come close. And that's okay. Because I know my worth. The bar's high. But those were the great loves of my life.